The entire process of making the Punnett square will be the same. Give me this body. This is the let us try one question from this card itself. Okay, write down. Then we have to solve a few questions from the previous board. Take question. In a cross between homozygous pea plants with in a cross between pea plants with homozygous, what is it? Homozygous pea plants with purple flowers and inflated pods, purple flowers and inflated pods with the recessive plant, 75 F1 plants are obtained. Full stop. The F1 plants are selved. Get acquainted with this word. This word also there in your paper. So not to get confused. Self meaning this process of pollination, breeding. The F1 plants are selved. F-S-E-L-F-E-D. Self pollination. F1 plants are selved to obtain 16 F2 plants. 16 F2 plants. Full stop. This is just the introduction that is there for your question. Now you write down the sub questions A, B, C, D for 5 marks. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1 or A, as you follow. A. Write down the phenotype and genotype of the F1 plant. Write down the phenotype and genotype of F1 plant. Write down the phenotype and genotype of F1 plant. Number 2. How many types of gametes does the F1 plant produce? How many types of gametes does the F1 plant produce? Number 2. Number 3. Number 3. How many plants in the F2 generation? How many plants in the F2 generation exhibit the parental phenotypes? How many plants in the F2 generation exhibit the parental phenotypes? Next, number D or 4. Number D. What are the new combinations obtained? What are the new combinations obtained in the F2 generation? What are the new combinations obtained? New combinations means you have to write the new phenotypes. What are the new phenotypes obtained in the F2 generation? Last question. Write down the phenotypic ratio. Write down the phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation. Write down the phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation. Clear? Got the questions, all 5? In your question paper, this is a format of a question. Okay, the question will be there, but the answers are so simple. Now, in this question, did I ask you to make the Punnett square and explain? No, that means for making Punnett square, there is no mark. But if you are confused, then you have to definitely make the Punnett square as your rough work. And then write down the genotype, phenotype, number, whatever is asked. But if you are confident, now without making the Punnett square by looking into genotype roughly writing, you are able to write it, then that is also okay. But see that if you are confused, don't just assume and write. In that case, you make the Punnett square, you are very sure what are the genotype phenotype. Now, for this one example, I want you to make the entire steps on the Punnett square with those new set of characters. Just put in the new set of characters if you have understood this. If you have not, tell me where you did not understand. So what will you take as the parental plant now? Tell me phenotype. What are the parental plants now in this example? Purple flowers, inflated pods. That is the phenotype. Contrast, what is the other plant? And inflated का contrast क्या था? Constricted. Very good. White pods, white flowers and constricted pods. Write down the phenotype first. Step by step, start your work now. Purple flowers, inflated pods, crossed with white flowers, constricted pods. Now decide the genotype. How to write? Which letters I can take? Which letters now? Purple flowers, purple, capital P, inflated, capital I. You write once or twice? Twice. Capital P, capital I, capital I. Contrast क्या लिखना है? Genotype, small p, small I, small I. Now go ahead. Now it should be easy for you to check out. जहाँ पे डाउट है पूछो. Steps क्या है? Parent के phenotype, genotype लिखना है, gametes लिखना है. Then F1 के gametes and then the Punnett square.
What does hybrid mean?
Hybrid means combination of two plants. Four types of gametes you got. F1 plants. All of you got till there. Four types of gametes. Check what are the four types of gametes. Are they correct? Make it fast a little bit so that we can discuss few more questions. Once you are done with the Punnett square, now start answering the 5 questions. Any doubt? Any doubt? Confusion है? Did you all get the 4 types of gametes of F1 plant? Got the 4 types of gametes? Are you able to write the 4 types of gametes on the Punnett square? Yeah? Confusion है? Nothing? Did you complete the Punnett square? 16 plants मिले? 16 plants मिला? Then write down the 4 types of plants exactly like this. What are the 4 types of plants now for this example? Write down now the next, then you start answering the questions. Write down the 4 types of plants. So which are the 4 types of plants in the F1, F2? One type will be purple, inflated. Second type will be purple, constricted. Third type will be white, inflated, white, constricted. 4 types. What will their respective numbers be? Should be 9:3:3:1. Should be 9:3:3:1. Nothing apart from that. Done? ओके, अनस्क्वायर में डाउट है किसी को? डन। देखो किसी को कंफ्यूजन है तो क्लियर करो। Should we start discussing the answers now? The first one, what I asked you, what is the genotype and phenotype of the F1? So what should be the genotype phenotype of the F1? Let us try. What should be the genotype phenotype of the F1? If I have to write straight away, what should be the genotype phenotype of the F1 here? What should I write? The genotype phenotype of the F1 will be purple, inflated, and white, constricted. This should be the genotype that you get. Got this, all of you? ऐसे लिखा कि नहीं लिखा? Purple, inflated, constricted. I'm sorry, white, constricted. Clear है ना? ऐसे लिखा सबने?
अलग ऑर्डर में लिखा फिर भी चलेगा।
हाँ, ऐसे भी चलेगा. This also is okay, not a problem. ठीक है? Okay. So this was the first question, genotype phenotype of the F1. Next question क्या है? What is the next question?
How many types of gametes F1 produce?
How many types of gametes this plant will produce? How many types of gametes? This is one. This is another. This is no. Capital P, capital I, capital P, small I, then small p, capital I, small p, small I. Got this? 4 types of gametes mila ye. So these are the 4 types of gametes from the F1 plant that you will get. Second question, third question kya hai?
How many plants in F2 generation exhibit the parental
phenotypes? Parental phenotypes. अच्छा चलो ये वाले एग्जांपल में अगर देखते हैं, how many plants have parental phenotypes? यही वाला एग्जांपल पहले समझते हैं, that this also you'll be able to do. In this example, how many plants have parental phenotypes? 10. These are parental plants, no? 10. तो same अभी इसके लिए, how many plants have parental phenotypes? 10. Which are the ones? Purple, inflated, white, constricted. जो भी plants है, so you should get here purple inflated 9 मिलना चाहिए. Purple inflated 9 मिलना चाहिए, and white constricted 8 मिलना चाहिए, तो 10 हो गया. What are the next question क्या है?
What are the new
Combinations.
of the
What are the new types of plants? That also you will get as questions. What are the new types of plants in the F2? So new types क्या है? New types है this ones. New types of plants. If I have to write down what are the types of plants, the types of plants that you have got is purple and inflated. Purple and inflated one type. Then purple inflated one type. What about this one? purple constricted 3, then white inflated 1 type, and white constricted 1. So which are the new types of plants? These two are the new types. These are the parental types. Okay? Is this understood now? Okay. Now, let us try one. See, there some assertion questions are there. Page 37 if you turn to. Page 37 if you turn to, some assertion questions also you will get on this. Assertion questions also can be there based on this. Let us just get acquainted with some words. Assertion questions to understand and answer. So in this entire concept, the basic thing is, are you able to understand the generation, their genotype, phenotype? Clear? So see this question there. In Mendelian experiment, F1 generation P plants, round, etc. That's the example given. Analyze the result and decide. If the P plants with round end grains, okay. Now here, follow combinations will obtain in the F2 generations. Analyze the results and the mechanism of inheritance. Okay. So from this table, what is the ratio? Now the question is incomplete there. I think a part of the question is not been typed here. See, in this question number 1, page 37, this type of a table you get in the paper. So इसमें कोई calculation करना है? No, nothing, no calculation with these numbers. It is just a rough estimate. Not to enter into some calculation 50%, 20%, कुछ नहीं करना है. This is just a rough estimate. With this type of a table, they will ask you questions. What is the phenotypic ratio? What percent of the plants are parental types, new combination? See here, 800 है, and then something around 250, 260 है, and then last is 90. So which type of plants are the homozygous recessive plants? 90, that is a homozygous recessive variety. Which is the dominant homozygous variety? The one's 800. And how many plants are new types? 270, 260 इसको add करके आंसर लिखना है. How many plants, according to this example, are new combinations? New types of plants कितने हैं? So just add this number and you write your answer. आया समझ में? So homozygous dominant कौन से? Maximum होगा homozygous dominant 800, homozygous recessive 90. Phenotypic ratio roughly क्या होगा? वही same 9331 वही है. Okay, 9331, that is the phenotypic ratio. Come to number 2. Round and green crossed with wrinkled and yellow. So F1 generation will be what? Check your answer. Round and green. If the round and green plants are crossed with wrinkled and yellow, then F1 generation plants will be what to write? 50% round and yellow, round and green, 70% wrinkled and green, 100% round and yellow, 70% wrinkled and yellow. What is the answer? What is the answer? आ रहा है समझ में? आया समझ में? In a pea plant, round and green seeds are crossed with wrinkled and yellow seeds. What is the previous example we had done? Round and green wrinkled with crossed with wrinkled and green. Round yellow, wrinkle green के बीच में जब क्रॉस होगा, what about the F1 generation? Are they 50% round green? 50% round green है कि 100% round and yellow है? 100% round yellow है ना? What did we learn in the previous example? What did we learn in the previous example? We have the round and yellow, we have the wrinkled green. So F1 100% round yellow था, है कि नहीं? चेक करो previous cross. F1 is 100% round yellow. और कोई ऑप्शन कुछ था? Nothing was there. 100% they were round yellow. Number 3 assertion. Okay, now this a human child bears all the basic features of human being, looks exactly like its parents, showing very little variations. Now this is the application of the concept of inheritance, variation, etc. Sex determination, a small concept we are going to study. So for assertion, see the statements, assertion and reason. So is the assertion statement true? A human child bears all basic features of human beings. True है? True है. Looks exactly like its parents, showing little variations. Exactly like its parents? No. It does not look exactly like parents, but shows a lot of variations. Not exactly like parents. Chromosomes, what are these? Chromosomes are carry information parents to next generation, thread-like structures inside the nucleus, always exist in phase, are involved in the process of cell division. Which are the statements? Correct statements कौन-कौन से हैं? Correct statements कौन-कौन से हैं? Correct statements कौन-कौन से हैं? Number 4. Correct statements कौन से हैं? Except for C, all are correct, no? C, only C is wrong there. Apart from C, all the statements are correct. So option है कोई 1, 2, 4 का option है. So that option should be correct. Only C, that statement is wrong. Otherwise 1, 2, 4 तीनों ही correct statements हैं. Then अच्छा, this type now you should be able to solve. इस तरह के questions now check. I'm sorry. Number 5 पढ़ो. I'll get one more. This you have to read on your. Number 5 पढ़ो. Try to solve. जैसा मुझे volume 2 देना. Read on your own. Check करो. देखो आ रहा है क्या समझ में? So let's check. What is this number 5? Number 5 I asked you to do. Number 5. Mendel worked on characters क्या है? Now that you get big questions like this, underline करो. Phenotype क्या दिया है question में? Immediately try to chalk out. एक rough work करो. See, let us solve number 5. Mendel worked out the rules of heredity by working on a basis, okay? On the basis of okay. So characters क्या दिया है? On the basis of observation, I give an example. Okay, fine. When Mendel crossed pure tall and pure short to produce F1, which two observations were made by him in F1? So that's the first question. When Mendel crossed pure tall and pure dwarf, which were the two observations that he had studied? Basic two observation क्या था? What did we study in the previous class? He crossed tall, he crossed dwarf. So basic to observation क्या था? The first generation plants or the next generation plants resembled only one type of a plant. And the characteristics of one plant was not expressed in the F1 generation plants at all. So write down in short in the volume itself what to write. Which two observations were made by him? Point number one. लिखो वहां पे point number one. The F1 plant expressed characteristics of only one plant. F1 plant expressed the characteristics of only one plant. Point number two. Point number two. Characteristics of the other plant. Characteristics of the other parent plant. Characteristics of the other parent plant was never expressed by the F1. Other parent plant was never expressed by the F1 plant. Write difference between dominant and recessive trait. Will you be able to write? What should you write specific? Dominant trait क्या है? A trait which always expresses both in the homozygous as well as heterozygous condition. Write down there. A trait which always expresses in the homozygous as well as heterozygous condition. A trait that always expresses in the homozygous as well as heterozygous condition. Recessive trait क्या लिखना है? A trait which expresses only in the homozygous condition. Trait that expresses only in homozygous. Okay. Okay, try now the next part, number 3. You should be able to answer. देखो answer वहाँ पे लिख दो. In a cross with two pairs of contrasting characters, Mendel observed 4 types of combinations. Correct है? F2 में 4 types of plants थे. By which method did he obtain F2 generation? Which method? Selfing, self-pollination. Which method? Selfing. Self-pollination या तो selfing. Write the ratio of the parental combination. Just now I asked you this question. What is the ratio of the parental combinations obtained? What is the ratio of the parental combinations obtained? 9:1. 9 of 16 plants and 1 of 16 plants. है ना? What is the ratio of the parental combinations? 9:1. 9:1. And what conclusions can be drawn from this experiment? What conclusions can be drawn from this experiment? Here you have to write down actually the law. Here the basic law has to be written down. Now what is the law? Independent assortment. Write down in your notebook. For the previous two I gave you the statement of the law. Now let us write down the statement for this also. What is the conclusion? यहाँ पे law लिखना है. Write down statement of independent assortment. When two parents with when two parents with two or more contrasting traits, when two parents with two or more contrasting traits are crossed, when two parents with two or more contrasting traits are crossed, comma, inheritance of one pair of allele, is independent of the other pair. Inheritance of one pair of allele is independent of the other pair during gamete formation. Inheritance of one pair of allele is independent of the other pair during gamete formation. What did we learn? 4 chromosomes individually getting inherited and forming 4 types of gametes. One pair absolutely independent of the other pair. This independent of this independent. That's the reason all 4 chromosomes. Were they linked together, 2 going together? No. All 4 individually separating, forming 4 types of gametes. That is the concept.
How is the ratio of the parental combination 9:2?
Ratio of the parental combination. Here you are only writing out of 16 how many? 9 and 1. Out of 16 plants how many? Is mentioned only 16. 4 types. So out of these 4 types, 9 of this, 1 of this. Out of 16 is always considered here. This answer I think we have done earlier. It is possible that a trait is inherited but does not get expressed. With that concept of, I think we have done this check for dominance. I think we have done this last class. A trait is inherited but not expressed. After the law of dominance, I must have given you this question. Gave you that? So for that, you have to write down a basic example. Tall and dwarf, you take an example. 2 plants, tall and dwarf cross. The F1 is always tall. Is not the dwarfness inherited? Inherited है कि नहीं? Inherited है, but express हो रहा है? No. So that is the example. A cross is between purple flowers and white flowers. What will be the color of the F1 plants? Purple. तो white color inherit हो रहा है? हो रहा है. Express हो रहा है? No. So if this is a characteristic, if this is a question, you take always a monohybrid example and explain like this. When pea plants with purple flowers and white flowers are crossed, all flowers in the F1 generation are purple. This explains that the white trait is inherited but does not get expressed. What is the reason? Because white is recessive to purple. When will the whiteness express? Only in a homozygous condition. So, ये concept लिखना है. So, likewise, try number 7 also at home later. Similar type of question, number 7, number 11, number 12. All these questions you try. So, at least 5-7 questions you will do. You will get a fair idea. Doubt है, बाकी बाद में doubt solving में पूछ सकते हो. So 11 है, 12 है, this type of all similar type of questions. Number 16, again a repeat question there. Traits acquired during the lifetime not inherited. Same example लिखना है. 17 is a question of this type. 19 is a question of this type. Let us straight away go to question number 22. What is the answer for this? 21. What is the function of genes? What is the function of genes? What to write? Genes produce proteins. Underline and write down that answer fast. Either you write down there or you write in your notebook. What is the function of genes? Genes carry information for genes. Function क्या है? What are genes that you know? Genes are functional segments of DNA. Function क्या है? Function of a gene is what? Genes carry information for producing a protein. Genes carry information for producing a protein that is responsible for the different characteristics that plants and animals exhibit. Responsible for the different characteristics that plants and animals exhibit or express. Okay, number 12, scientific term for science of heredity and variation क्या है? Genetics. Define inheritance. What to write? This we have defined at the start of the chapter. The passing over of the characters from parents to offsprings. What is inheritance? The passing over of the characters from parents to offsprings. That is called inheritance by the way of the chromosome. Inheritance. Number 28. Chromosomes are heredity carriers. यहाँ पे वही लिखना है. Chromosomes pass on from parents to offsprings. They pass on characteristics from parents to offsprings. That's the reason they are known as the carriers of heredity. Okay, now a little bit more, the last topic, that is sex determination. So only that much we'll have to study. The last topic that we take up is sex determination. So now, as we are talking about the concept of sex determination, what to understand? The first is the two types of chromosomes that we have. What are the two types of chromosomes? To talk about the types of chromosomes in our body, their number and their types. Number 1, autosomes. Autosomes. What are autosomes? Autosomes are chromosomes that carry genes to regulate all functions of the body but not the reproductive functions. Okay? So, what are autosomes? These are chromosomes that carry. Autosomes are chromosomes that carry genes to regulate all types of body functions, except the reproductive functions. Which are the autosomes in our body? The autosomes in our body are the first to the 22nd pair of chromosomes are the autosomes in our body. Second type of chromosomes that we have, allosomes, these are also known as the sex chromosomes. How will you define them? These, from all of you, please remember to write this specific answers. In your textbook, they have not given any specific definitions, but questions are there always like this. What are allosomes? Allosomes are chromosomes that carry. Allosomes क्या है? These are chromosomes that carry genes. Chromosomes that carry genes that regulate all the reproductive functions. Which chromosome pair? That is the 23rd pair. This is the 23rd pair of chromosome that we are talking about. Allosome sex chromosomes. But now this 23rd pair, now that we are talking about, in the male, this 23rd pair is designated as X and Y. In the female, the chromosome is designated as X and X. So how many autosomes? So in total, first to 22nd pair I am talking about. That means 44. How many sex chromosomes? 2. How many total number of chromosomes in our cells? 46. Clear hai? Now the concept of sex determination, the chart to understand. Now if we are talking about how to write down the flow chart, and quite a number of times questions on the flow chart that you are asked. This is how you write parents. I start with parents. Talking about, now that already we have studied the chapter on reproduction, you are aware, reproductive organs, testis, ovary. So that way, I talk about a cell of the testis and talk about a cell of the ovary. Try to remember the number of chromosomes and their types. How many autosomes? 44. So the cell of the ovary, how many autosomes? Autosomes and X and X. Number 44 plus 2. आया समझ में? Types and number. What should I write here? Autosomes and X and Y. 44 plus 2. 46 chromosomes. Clear? Gametes. Gametes by the process of meiosis. Our ovary produces how many types? By meiosis 4. Number is okay. Now we are not talking about number. The types. In the entire concept of genetics, more than the number, we are talking about the types. How many types of gametes? Autosomes, pair of chromosomes, same. So how many types of gametes? Number of gametes will be 4, but the type of gametes is just 1. Type of gamete 1. So what are the types of gametes? Even though I write 2, it is A plus X. 22 plus 1, just half of it. Gametes contain half of the chromosome we had learned during reproduction. Yes or no? What do I write here? A plus X, 22 plus 1. What are female gametes known as? Ovum. What do I write this side? If it is a concept of male gametes, what to write? How many types of gametes? This is one type, A plus X, 22 plus 1. The other type is A plus Y, 22 plus 1. What are the male gametes known as? Sperms. Clear hai? Gametes in human contain how many chromosomes? Human gametes contain how many chromosomes? Human gametes contain how many chromosomes? 23. Human gametes contain how many chromosomes? 23. Cells of the ovary, how many? 46. Cells of the testes, how many? 46. Then the offsprings. How is the sex during the process of fertilization understood in the human? If this ovum, now ovum ki to koi problem nahi. Ovum is only one type. Sperm is of 2 types. If this ovum fertilizes with this type of a sperm, X-carrying sperm, then what will the zygote be? You have to write, excuse me, if a ovum fertilizes a X-carrying sperm, then the zygote will have back A, X, X. So what do we write here? A plus X, X. What is the pair of sex chromosomes now? 23rd chromosome क्या हो जाएगा? Again, it will be something like this. XX हो गया. What about the number? I write down the number again. 22, 23 और ये 23. 44 plus 2. आया समझ में? What type of a sex will this zygote have? Female. So this zygote will further give rise to a female offspring, a girl. Okay, talk about this. This ovum, ovum तो एक ही type के हैं, no problem. This ovum when fertilized with this one, what is the zygote? The zygote, what will be the number of chromosome? Types of chromosome I write first. AA plus XY. Number back 46. What will be the sex of this zygote now? Male. The 23rd pair XY अगर है तो male, 23rd pair XX अगर है तो female. So this will be a male offspring. Correct है? So you are asked questions that what is the probability that during the process of fertilization the zygote will give rise to a male offspring or a female offspring? The probability क्या है? 50%. क्यों 50%? Because whether this ovum will fertilize with this or this, can the male or the female body, any of the male or the female body regulate this process of fertilization? It is just a matter of chance. We had studied in the entire concept of reproduction, process of fertilization of the gametes inside the female body, just a matter of chance. So when you get questions, what is the probability fertilization will give rise to a male or a female offspring? Answer is 50%. This flowchart is there in your textbook, notebook. This you'll have to write and practice also. Take 2 minutes, write this down complete, and then you go and this isko practice karna hai. As it is for 2 marks also, you are getting this to write flowchart. All questions are there related to the diagram in your textbook. In your textbook also the same diagram, but the chromosome numbers and the types are not mentioned. In the volume also we have this, but the chromosome number and the types, take a note. This you should know very nice. Difference between autosomes and sex chromosomes. So we are done with the syllabus. Go through the questions, and there's a doubt ever. This chapter, this few board questions we have discussed. The others, quite a number of them are repeat. But still go through all. If there's a doubt, come for the doubt solving now. And the rest all NCERT questions are answered there. Go through those questions. Okay? All the best. Study hard, all of you.
और फिजिक्स है बायो का सेंटर किसी और साइंस को
नहीं है क्या बायो?
नहीं
तो बस 2 ही है.
हाँ मैथ रहेगा फिर
अभी मैं एडिट कर दूँगा